Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, Japa'd Chronicles. My name is Deji, and my co-host is
Bisola Screen.
my name is Deji. I'm a software engineer that lives in Germany. I'm an immigrant from Nigeria. I've been living here in Germany for over 6 years now. So I decided with my friend, we'll be talking a
Your
lot about
best
our friendship.
friend. Your best friend.
Yeah, we'll be talking a lot about our friendship later in the podcast, but just to introduce ourselves to you first and why we actually started this podcast. So, as I said before, I'm a software engineer in Germany. I've been here as an immigrant from Nigeria for over 6 years. And yeah, I've been working here. I started with studying, but I've been working here. But yeah, I'll give Bisola the chance to just give us a brief introduction of ourselves in case you don't know,
Okay.
which will surprise
Yeah.
you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bisola Screen. Welcome to our podcast with my longtime bestie, even though he has new friends now. Duh. Um, I am Nigerian immigrant. I live in Canada. I have been in Canada for over 6 years now. I work as a content creator and a finance educator. I used to work in the banking industry as a business analyst, but now I do content creation and social media full time, which is fun. It's a fun life. We're going to be sharing our experience as immigrants living abroad, living in developed or developed countries, and how we've been able to maintain our friendship over the years, even though we haven't even seen since freaking.
Yeah, so I mean, as you can see, her presentation is more polished than mine. She's been doing this for a long time, but that's not the cocoa of the matter right now. We just wanted to have this podcast, to just share our similar and also different experiences living as immigrants in different countries, different continents, how we were able to navigate from Nigeria to here to our respective home country right now, and and we don't want this podcast to just be about I and Bisola. We also want you guys to join and also share your experiences with us. So before we actually go into more details about that, I just again maybe outline what this podcast will look like. We'll try as much as possible in our tight schedule to release new episodes every week where we try to talk about different topics about immigrants living in foreign countries, how
Diaspora.
they in the diaspora. Thank you.
And we'll also
So
bring another guest as well.
yeah, obviously, yeah, we want people to join Nigeria immigrants in the diaspora. This is like we want it to be a lounge for all of us to share experiences, to just have a chill time, chill, just like friends talking and having a good kiki, the bad times, the good times, learning experiences and things you don't want others to also experience. Yeah, this is just the platform for it, and this is what we want it to be. So before we go deeply into that, actually, I want us to start with our friendship. Bisola, I want us to, just to
How long have we
briefly
been
tell
friends?
people.
How long have we been friends? Let's start
I
from
was
there.
actually, I was actually thinking about that today. I was thinking it's 9 years or
I
ten
feel like
years.
it's more.
No, I think it's 10 years because I
Also,
was
that means we
doing
met
the
in 2016.
around that time, 2016, 2017,
Oh,
because I was doing the 10-year challenge. The 2016 is now challenge on Instagram, and I was posting my pictures from 2016, and I
and I
tried to
wasn't in the
because okay,
picture.
yeah, you're
So that
right.
was
I
from
don't. I was thinking, I
2017.
was like, I don't think I've met Bisola by this time. So I
Or
think
maybe
it
you're
was
still shy. You don't have pictures with me yet.
not really. I'm sure I would definitely would have. I mean, we were
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it
literally
was probably 2017 because if it was 2016, they would have been towards the end of the year where it was probably
yeah,
20.
exactly,
That's like
exactly.
9 years
So
from now. How's it been?
yeah, yeah, I mean, fantastic. I mean, even though you've forgotten me almost in the
I-
past 5 years,
There's no way.
guys, actually, this is one of the reasons we started the podcast because I actually called last year and was like, this allow, since we left, so many stories to tell, guys. So since we left Nigeria, we've actually not met physically since we left Nigeria. And when we were in Nigeria, we were like 5 and 6.
Best
So
friend.
you know what? I was like, this what the hell is wrong with both of us that we can't find time to meet each other? But then there were so many things to talk about, and we're like, you know what? Why don't you just share these experiences with people and also listen to how
Other
their
people's
abroad
experience
life,
looks
yeah,
like.
other people's experience, how their abroad life is, treating people and making, changing dynamics of relationship and
Even
stuff like that.
family, not just, yeah, well, I love that you said relationship because even family as well as a relationship, friendship is a relationship. Because, like, just deploy for search of greener pasture, moving abroad and starting a new life is like that becomes your priority. And not like you intentionally cut off everyone else, but like you trying to adjust to your new home and your new normal becomes like your headache, the thing you have to deal with every single day, and just forget those people who mean the most to you for the longest time, which sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So, but before we go into that, I mean, we have so many stories to tell about that. But before we go deeply into that again, I know I've been saying that before. I just want us to break down our friendship, how it started approximately 9 years ago. Let's put it that way.
So how
Where
did
did
you
we
meet?
first meet?
I
I
think
asked the question first.
I don't know if we met on that group chat first or we met at the event first. I think so. The group
Oh,
chat that I'm talking about is a WhatsApp group chat. So both of us, just a quick piggyback, we used to have online businesses where we had like our own
uh,
e-commerce store. We would buy products from
yeah.
China and sell it online, and we had like an online website where we're selling our own stuff and making money as freshly new graduates. I was still freshly new, about 1 or 2 years into it, and you, I think, you were about 2 or 3 years already at that time.
No, I think a year after I finished my service. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
after
it
I
was
finished
pretty
my
much the
NYC.
same thing for me. I was doing it while I was in school as well. So we had that business going on, and because of that, anything you're doing, you typically would have a WhatsApp group chat for emotional support and learning from other people as well. So we're all part
Yeah.
of a WhatsApp group chat for mini importers, and I'm not sure if we first met in that group chat or if we first met in person. So I'll let you answer that part.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the name, of course, the name Wiz Queen with Pop House
I'm
because I think
celeb
she
now.
was
What do
one
you
of the,
think I am?
excuse you. I think she was one of the few ladies in the group, and she's a very active person. So I saw the name, but we never really knew each other. One not like personally. Then until then, I think we went to a workshop regarding our business, also like how to improve your business. And then through a mutual friend, after the workshop, I think the mutual friend wanted to add a car, and of course we were checkers there.
You
So I think
Legady's Benz. It's a Legady's Benz.
I think the mutual friend wanted to drop us something like that, and somehow we got almost got in the same car. I can't remember, but that's how we connected. Then I think what was our next connect? I think
I
then
think even at that event, we are already speaking. So it wasn't just in the car,
yeah,
because like the gathering of everybody else that were like, oh, on the group chat, we're all meeting. It was like we waited behind after the event to have a chat. And then I saw you, but
exactly.
then I couldn't put a face to the name because I didn't even really know the name on the group chat. But you knew my name because, of course, it's me.
Oh
Then we now
please.
got in the car and we started talking because we're going to get dropped off by someone.
Yeah. So yeah, I think again one of the reasons we actually related to each other was because we were kind of the youngest or maybe the smallest in the gathering then. So of course,
We're friends with
when
like
you see
people
your
making millions at that time, but we were just like starting.
yeah, obviously, yeah. Then so it was so I was like, okay, let me see person where you see they my level, yeah, stuff, something like that. Then so yeah, but yeah, that was how we connected. Then I think then maybe we just had a brief chat. Then we just went our separate ways, and then Bisola had a big deal, kind of like big order and stuff like that. And I
I
think she
always
needed
got
some
big
product.
orders, what I say. I was a top seller.
Excuse you. And I think she needed a big order. Then somehow she contacted me. Then we did the transaction. It was cool, and I was,
You have to
as a
provide more
curious.
context. We can't just ramble through because people need more information to visualize what we're saying. So
Okay,
we used to sell on Konga and on Jumia and many online
Jumia, yeah,
marketplaces. And sometimes we also had our own website where we're running ads to get customers. So I think
yeah,
this product was, I think it was a smartwatch.
yeah. It was a smartwatch.
There was a
So you,
smartwatch. I
yeah,
had many orders for it and I didn't have enough supplies. But then when me
yeah,
and him met, we had spoken about that particular product that, oh yeah, he was selling it and I was selling it too. So
yeah.
because we now became friends and I had his number from the group chat, I was able to reach out to him to ask like, hey, do you have order stock for this item so that I can purchase from you to fulfill my order?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I can remember the platform was actually Kemo. So
That
I
was
mean, if
Kema.
anybody, yeah, Kemo, she got the order because I am also on the platform, but I never used to get big order from that particular platform. So if you are very familiar with the Nigeria e-commerce space, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, Kemo was the
Very popular.
smaller. Yeah,
Was
it was
like,
popular, but it was
but it was like in the lower league, like lower league. It was like maybe
yeah,
number four or
exactly. So I
five.
was like,
Who is this
how is this
girl?
girl
And how is she
getting?
getting this much order? Cable is
Yeah, how is she
dead.
getting this much? Yeah, it's dead. It was dead to me. How is she getting this much order from the distance? So that's why I tried, to join body with her. Then I helped
It
her with her
spams me.
order. So I helped her with her order actually. Then from there we had like frequent communication back and forth on how to help each other, to improve each other and stuff like that. But it was just a normal friendship there. But I will have you answer this one question. What do you think actually brought us closer?
I don't know, to be honest. I feel like we went to a second event and we now connected more this time, I think. And also, you are very responsive. You seem like a good friend. Plus, I could always get products from you. And I don't know exactly what I would say brought us very close, but I think those things, like maybe because also like we're still very young. We're looking out for like who can help us on this journey. I feel like that's part of
Yeah,
why we stay connected. I think from my
yeah,
perspective, maybe you
yeah.
can.
Yeah, well, from my own point of view, how I made sure I stuck body with her was that okay. So we had like a an agent that helped us get our goods from China, and then so it was a
Like a
mutual
clearing
agent.
agent, like a clearing
Yeah,
agent.
a clearing agent exactly. So I mean, we were friends. We knew each other. We were on WhatsApp group, but we're not like kiki friends like that. We're not like. And the other day, she just randomly called me like, "Queen, can you please lend me 150K, my dear? If you are in Nigeria, if
You
you're
were in
like
Nigeria
in
9 years
my
ago. 150K
nine
is
years
like
ago,
1.5 million.
yeah, it was like 1,000 euros or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe
Yeah.
700 euros. Let me put it that way. Like
I
I
asked
was
you
probably,
that.
yeah, I was probably sleeping that day. I'm like, excuse me, who is this person? Number one, I was like, blink twice on the phone or shout twice on the phone for me to know you're not kidnapped or what. Because like, how can you just call me randomly and ask for such amount when we're just like basic friends then? Then I think she handed the phone over to the agent who I also knew. Then it was like, you know what, she's trusted. You can lend her the amount. I'm like, oh God. So I have to speak to my God with my phone or my Bible before transferring the money. Before
No, please.
transferring the money to
Did I return the money back or no? Don't cast me or lie. I have reputation. Oh.
if you're in Nigeria, you understand my concern. But yeah, to be honest with you, like I did send the money to her, and getting it back was not a problem. So from there, I was like, you know what, in this online space where you are just trying to get your foot, if you can find someone that is trusted, someone that is reliable, then stick body with the person and try to grow together with the person.
Let
I
me
think
let me
that
add my own
actually
part. Let me add my own part because now you're making it sound like someone just called you to say, give me 150K. Which
well,
I don't remember that happening, but I don't doubt that it's possible that I asked you. And why is that? I feel like which is also a flawed mindset. At that time, I was young, first of all. I was probably 19 or 20. And in my head, I always assumed that everybody that is doing that same business, everybody had money. So it's like if you call someone to ask them for money, if they're doing same business and you guys are close or something, and like you have some relationship and they can trust you, they should be able to give you the money because like they have it and it's not such a big deal. That's my mindset at that point in time. Plus,
yeah.
I think I was thinking from a privileged point of view. Plus, in my head, I feel like in my perspective, then I felt we were already close. Maybe to you, you didn't think that we're that close for you to ask me money, type of close. But for me, in my head, I felt like, oh, we're that close that I could ask you for money. And I'm pretty sure that it had to do with like transfer limit for sure. It had to do with transfer limit
Mm,
about
I
like,
mean,
in Nigeria,
closeness.
then there's like limits to how much you can transfer in a day and you have to wait till the next day, something like I'm pretty sure it had to do with something like that. that made me say, oh, can you quickly lend me 150K? Because I'm pretty sure 150K was not a big deal for me.
Excuse you.
It wasn't
It
a
was
big
not
deal
what?
for me. Because I
It
paid you back
wasn't.
the next day.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I know you paid me. I mean, it was just like, yeah, it was just. I mean, again, I think this is maybe another lesson for people. Like try to build trust, try to be a
Trust,
reliable
yeah.
person. Because
Yeah.
again, just
That
that one
helps grow
transaction.
our friendship, actually. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I see what you
exactly.
mean. From your own
Yeah, that
perspective,
one
it helps us
transaction.
become friends. Mm.
Yeah, that one transaction for me felt like, okay, no, this person is reliable. Like, and more than the 150. I mean, if she had done with the 150K,
Then we would have
so I
lost
know.
great friendship.
Yeah, exactly. I know we've gained more than that from each other over the years, and this is us like 9 years after. I
Later,
don't know.
we should
Yeah.
actually do
So
our 10-year challenge next year. We should put it in our diary to do our 10-year challenge next year. So how
yeah,
do
of course.
so
I mean,
continue, sorry.
okay. No, I just lost my trail of thought. So I think that's how we became friends, and later, like we went to different events. I mean, we had a lot of fun time. Like, something about I and Bisola, and if you ask our mutual friends, our mutual partners, there's always a kiki. Like that's how you can
We
see on
had
this point.
many inside jokes, and everybody thought that we were even dating at some point because we're that
Yeah,
close. And we had so many inside jokes. We had like eyes, like and look at something like we like give each other signs, and it's like so funny to us. And we always because we're doing same business, so we had like
yeah,
we're selling almost the same thing as well. So we had to like, oh, do you have this product? This thing is selling really, really fast. Try this out. So we always give each other ideas, and we never saw each other as competition. That's one thing I really valued about our friendship. I knew other people that were in similar business as well, but many of them had like this barrier where they didn't want to share too much. But with you and I just felt like, I beg, it's just money, it's not that serious. So we always shared everything. If,
yeah.
if I find something that is really, really working, and I'll share with Deji, then if Deji also finds something that is really, really working, will share with me. And sometimes it's just like, sometimes we even start selling stuff that we don't have because I know you have it. And it was
Yeah,
really nice.
exactly.
It was really nice. We became very
Yeah,
dependable friends, and that's what I really liked about. That's what I missed the most because I don't think I could ever have any male friend like on that level anymore. Maybe I've just grown past it, maybe it's just in my head. And also, this is from a female's perspective. I also liked our friendship because you were one of the few friends, male friends specifically, who wasn't trying to sleep with me. All the other guys, they were always like, "Mm." So you're the only guy friend that didn't have that didn't seem like they had that intention. So because of that, I was like, I can always just be myself around this guy and trust him and whatever.
Uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, she was a small girl then, so I was just like, you know what, never mind. But let's not overbeat the lane of friendship. I mean, of course, you guys will hear more about our friendship over the coming podcast and stuff like that. But we just wanted to introduce you guys to how we met and how we grew together with each other. So one thing I wanted us to talk about before also we talk about more about the theme of this podcast was how you were able to navigate the business world in Nigeria. Because I know this personally. Yeah, both of us we actually sponsored ourselves abroad, and getting ourselves abroad actually cost a lot of money.
Funny.
And I'm sure, I mean, from what I know, it was from the business we were doing in Nigeria. I mean, guys, this is not like a podcast where you bring a paper and pen outside and
But
start
some, I mean, some
using.
you can still learn something because, like, one thing I must say
Yeah, of course.
is, one thing I must say is, so basically, what we are trying to cover now is how we're able to fund our Japa dreams. Basically, that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
And we both were self-sponsored. We didn't have family, parents, support from anybody else. I know your parents are rich, but for me,
Uh,
I had to
I
feed
would
that.
say like I would say my parents are rich. I won't say my parents are poor, but something I would say is that I mean I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my parents because I always had a roof over my head and I always had 3 square meals to eat. I mean, no matter the circumstances, and that gave me a lot of securities then. Like was able to when I finished the uni, I just didn't think about getting a job. I was able to start the business, and notwithstanding the risk, I knew if it goes down, I still have my parents' house to stay, and I'm sure my parents will still feed me. But yeah, they gave me that security. But in 100 years, I was sure my parents probably would never buy me a car. And I was not that rich. So please, I can't categorize myself as rich. But I was thankful. I'm grateful for my parents. That I would say. Don't you remember the
For
moment?
me as well, definitely grateful because we had roof over our head. Most people, if you wanted to
Yeah,
start a business, you probably be thinking about renting a shop or a store or something. But because
yeah,
we both had
exactly.
our parents home, we were able to start our business from home. And thankfully, it was an online business, so we didn't have to do too much. So funding, let's now get into the funding our Jackpot dreams.
Yeah.
No, before we talk about funding, we need to talk about when we decided to Jackpot.
No, I don't. Okay, yeah,
What,
that's
because
true.
like we had to make the decision before we were able to fund it.
Yeah, that's true. So
What
will you
made you
start with that?
Japa? What made you Japa?
I left Nigeria 2019, but my
We left
decision,
literally the same week. I left like this week,
yeah.
Friday. He left
So
on
she left.
Tuesday,
Yeah, so I think she left September 10, 2019. I left September 17, 2019.
a week apart.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a week apart. Yeah, but actually my decision to Japa was actually more or less a year before I actually traveled. And I think it's an experience, maybe quite an
Yeah,
emotional one for me, and I think you actually know about it also.
yeah,
Was
yeah.
like as we mentioned
With the
before,
police brutality and all of that.
I
Crazy.
actually give the moments like I thought, okay, you know what, Nigeria is really not for me. Was the year before that, 2018 or so. I mean, we've mentioned before, like we do e-commerce business, and e-commerce has to do with delivery, moving from one place to another, and
Sending
I live in
international transaction. Yeah, that
yeah,
part.
yeah, stuff like
Money
that.
abroad.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you have a lot of conversation on your WhatsApp and stuff like that regarding business, regarding money, regarding PayPal, regarding foreign currency and stuff like that. But like maybe a year before, yeah, like 2018, early 2018, there was a particular business transaction I had. So I had a customer that ordered for a product in Festac. Now, mind you, I live in Ikorodu. So if you're a Lagosian or if you're a Nigerian, just imagine the distance. So in my head, I thought, you know what, instead of using a delivery company to actually deliver the order, because I think the customer needed the order like right now, like the next morning. So I thought, okay, you know what, I can just deliver the order in a first stack from Ikorodu, then go to Yaba and ship some other orders to other locations. So I woke up very early that morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, in the corridor to beat the traffic and get to first stack and deliver to the customer. And I was able to do that. I was able to deliver to the customer. I was so excited, like, oh my God, I was able to achieve this. And mind you, I've never been to first stack in my life before until that particular delivery. So imagine having to wake up by 6 a.m. from Ikorodu to Festa to do a delivery. Then just as a young guy trying to make his way in the country, trying to make his way in life, delivery and also do my next shipment in the deliveries
Drop
agents
off.
in drop off in Yaba. So I was on my way from because I remember this incident so clearly, and it was like a turning point in my life, really, because before then, I mean, I have family members who traveled out. I
All
have
of us,
people, friends
nobody
who,
wanted to travel. We're making money, bro.
yeah. I felt I was doing well for myself, and I felt there was potential in what I was doing. So when I was moving from Ojuelegba, trying to link it, there's a market. If you're Nigerian or Lagosian,
Joe
there's a
show
market plenty.
market.
Yeah, I was trying to link it to Yaba, and I was just walking. I was with a school bag with my products in my bag, and I was walking. Young
I
guy,
think we're
just
coming to
trying
see
to.
me, or we're going to meet
No,
up at the place.
yeah, we're going to meet up at the place. Yeah, exactly. So, I was on the side of the road. I just saw a guy, non-uniform guy, just came to me and just grabbed my hand. I was like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, just leave me alone." Then he grabbed my hand. Then I was like, "What's going on?" And and you have people around, and they were looking at me and seeing what was happening. And then I just saw him. He just pointed to a car over a bus over the road. There were police standing around there and asked me to go there, come there with him. So he dragged me there, and I was like, "What's the problem? What's the issue?" I showed him my products. I showed him like the delivery notes and everything of my product evidence. Everything I was doing was legal, but he still insisted, like, "Oh, I have to follow them to my station, to their police station and stuff like that." And I was literally traumatized by that incident because I was dragged to the police station for no reason. I had to call. Bisola
Abuse.
was the first person.
I was
Yeah,
literally abused.
I was literally humiliated.
Oh,
Bisola
humiliated,
was,
yeah.
yeah, was the first person I called because she was
Around.
around, and, and also she's my closest friend. So she's the one I
Your
called,
best
and
friend, you need to use the right word. I was your best friend.
so she's my best friend, and I called her and she came to meet me at the station. I had a little money in my account. Then I was like, oh my god, this guy wants to steal. But I mean, then my thought was, oh my god, this guy wants to steal the money in my account. I'm like, Mr. How can I transfer this money to you so they don't see? I mean, we're just as young kids that we were, or I won't like say kids, but
Young adults.
young
Yeah,
youth
young adults, yeah.
adults that we were then. I wasn't really thinking much of the matter. I just thought these guys want a lot of money, but I'm not ready to give it to them. So I'll find a way to hide the money from them and just then if they say nothing, then they leave me alone. But no, this guy insisted on getting something from me. It became a very big problem. I spent an hour, 2 hours. I had to call my mom. My
Go to
mom
the
had to drive
station, they
down.
ransack your phone, they check everything.
Yes,
Look at, so the problem was they started to look into our international transactions. And another thing we need to also bring back here is, you know how in Nigeria many people were like, there's this Yahoo, what do they call them? Fraud, money fraud. That was a thing.
yeah,
So I think there's this stereotype that if you see a young guy that looks good, that is carrying laptop and has a backpack, they stereotype you to
yeah,
be one of those people. So I think that's one of the reasons why they stopped you in the first place. Now, when they stopped you and they saw those many watches inside your bag, it became like, what are you doing exactly? Then you thought that all you needed to do was show them proof of your transactions that, oh, I'm going to do delivery. Oh. Instead, that
yes,
spiraled down into them now deciding to check all your phone, your bank transactions, this one, sending money and looking into all your personal life. It became crazy because it's like, how did we get here? They held you down for hours. They took you to the station. We stayed there for more than half the day, bro.
yeah,
Your mom
exactly.
had to
It was,
come, and they eventually still collected bribe. It was
yeah, it was.
frustrating.
No, it was really trauma. I mean, when I think about it right now, it really gets me really emotional because I was just, I just thought I was just a young kid trying to just, I'm not defrauding anybody. I'm just trying to make a
You
way for
work
myself,
hard.
Yeah, I work hard, I left my home 6 a.m., trying to do things right. And this is what I'm being met with. At that point, I thought, you know what, this country is not for me. What actually saddens me most was that when I was initially accosted by the police station, by the policemen on the road, there were people around them that saw what was happening and saw how random
Nothing.
it was. And nobody was
Nobody
concerned.
stopped.
They just
Nobody
moved on with
stopped.
their life.
Everybody just move on with their life.
Everybody just moved on with their life. I was like, this is not the country for me, you know. Then that year, that
Try to
incident
do more
went on.
research.
Yeah, so I started thinking about, okay, I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't really think much about, which is really a very good question. Like, how did I come to the decision of Germany? I just don't know. It was just, I don't know, for some reason, US was not an option for me. I'm not a fan of the United States. That's a story for another day. The UK was also an option, not an option for me, a story for another day. So I think my options were between Canada and I
Germany.
think Germany. I don't
And I
really
wanted
know
you to
how I
come
come.
to Canada because I was going to Canada.
Yeah, but I think yeah, Germany because again I thought you know what because I finished my bachelor's I didn't really further my study after that because I went to do business directly. I felt I needed to study more and I felt I needed work experience. So I felt okay, Germany's package was really something that suits me
Enticing.
better. Like yeah, because the getting to study was not really expensive compared to Canada, and it's also not far from Nigeria. I'm not really a fan of long distance
Let me
travel.
ask you now. Let me ask you. That time that you're saying it's not really far from Nigeria. How many times did you end up going to Nigeria after you moved? You didn't move.
That's a story for another day.
Because
That's a
Canada,
story for another day.
the excuse we always give is that Canada is too far. Canada is too far. It's too cold. It's too
Yeah,
cold. Everybody
exactly.
know they leave. They don't end up going back home for years.
So,
Anyway, let me talk about.
but yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
continue.
yeah. Let me just yeah. So that was just how I decided on Germany and how I started thinking about going to Germany, I got my passport, then got my transcripts, my certificates and stuff like that before I started the whole application. Then maybe Bisola, I can give
Yeah.
you a chance to also.
What made me decide to move abroad? I think mine was not as like huge as yours.
Dramatic.
Mine was
Yeah.
more like at that time. we're starting to make less money from the business. I don't know if you realize, like we're still making
No.
good money, but the money that we're making, like before when we were able to make maybe like 200% profit, 150%, even 100% profit. Then now we're making less than 100% profit. And the cost of our ads was going up because we're running
Yeah.
ads on Facebook. The cost of advertising was going up due to the exchange rate. So we're paying our ads in naira, but they will do the calculation some sort in US dollars. And the value of the currency in US dollars was dropping, which was also affecting our imports because we're buying products from China. So at the end of the
Yeah.
day, our profit was significantly reducing, even though we're still selling at the same price. And we couldn't up our cost because we're competing with big guns, people who were importing using sea cargo, sea shipping, and all. We couldn't increase our price. We couldn't
Yeah. Yeah.
make that same money. I was like, okay, now that I know more about business, I think we're just being greedy to be expecting to make 200%, 100%,
Yeah,
500% or whatever
exactly.
from our return.
To be
But
honest with you, the beginning of the business there was like,
it was good money. But now that I'm
yeah,
into
it was good
business, I
money.
know
Yeah.
that if you're able to make 100% profit on something, that is fantastic. Most businesses don't make more than 20% margin on whatever it is they're selling. So we just didn't know better at that point in time. So for me, at that point in time,
Yeah.
then Buhari was going to enter second tenure again. After the first tenure was already bad, which like cost of living, exchange rate, and everything had gone up. Then the second tenure was also going to be almost similar or even worse than the first one. I was like, bruh, me, I can't even do it in this country. Like it feels everything was just going getting it feels like everything was just going bad. And I just didn't know what to think from there. So instead, and I started to think that okay, you know what? Then that was one. Then the second part was I was in a relationship with Bombo.
uh,
I think that's the
uh,
part that you know. I think that's the part you know.
finally,
You
finally,
know what?
I
It's
was
actually
waiting
your
for you to
namesake.
get to that part.
It was actually your namesake. The second part was that I was in a relationship with that guy. Then we ended things. He was
Uh,
talking about moving to one country like that.
Estonia.
How do you
Estonia, don't
remember
say
the
one
story
country
better
like
than
that. Don't say Estonia. Because this girl will not let my hair what that time. Because the ex or whoever it was then, his name was also Ayodeji, but not as cute as I am. But yeah, it's always, oh, Ayodeji is talking about Estonia. What do you think about Estonia? I'm like,
I was a
what the
lover
hell are you
girl. I
doing
wanted to go with my man anywhere. God forbid I'm going to
I
Estonia
was like, what
anyway.
the hell are you going to do in Estonia?
So that
Yeah,
was the first
then
place. That was
somehow,
the first time I started to think about abroad. And
yeah,
like so
exactly.
the whole situation of the economy was starting to make me think, but I didn't have a destination in mind. But then because my partner at the time was talking about Estonia, so I started to think about it and do research on Naira land and the likes. Then eventually when the relationship ended, it was like I have no business to want to go there. But before we parted ways, I saw like a card with him about Canada. So I was curious. And somebody like 2 years before had told me about Canada, but I didn't take it seriously because I was a young girl, I was like 20, making money. The kind of money I was making at 20 years, so what was I looking for again? There was no reason to want to move to Canada. So now this is the second time I was coming across Canada. I was like, maybe I should look into Canada. Then I had a cousin that lived in the US, that was schooling in the US then. And he was like, oh, why Canada? Canada is dry. There's no opportunities there. There's no money there. Move to the US. So I had the option of moving to either the US as a student, master's student, or Canada as a permanent resident. And I got lucky because I already had work experience. I had like a second certification that could give me more points for the Canadian system. And all I needed to do was just my English test. It was a no-brainer. US was an option, but it just didn't seem like a smart move. So I went on Ireland. I put up a post to say, "Oh, should I go to US as a student or should I go to Canada as a PR?" Everybody just bombarded. As I did this time, we didn't even know many people were into immigration. We just
Yeah,
decided at this point in time. So many people bombarded me like, "Are you using your brain? If you're using your brain, you should know that this is not a question. Go to Canada. Kind of PR at hand is far better than study permit and everything." So I was trying to also convince Deji, that's you, that
yeah,
you come to Canada because if you come to Canada, you get permanent residence. But then for you, you didn't
resident,
have
yeah.
that second degree that I had and the work experience too. So there was no way you could.
Yeah, I didn't have a work experience then. And I think I actually looked, and I think you actually mentioned a very good helping point there was Naira land. Nigerian literally got me where I am, to be honest
Even
with
me
you.
too. Even me. I can't even
It
like that
got me
platform change.
literally
And
where
even in the business,
yes, exactly. That's what I
most
wanted
of
to
us in
say.
that group chat, we all met through Nairaland.
Through Nairaland, exactly. And the business idea, I actually got it from Nairaland. How
Nairaland.
I got to,
How we even
yeah,
started to
exactly.
sell Nairaland. The
Yeah,
ideas on
exactly.
how
How
to
I
get
got,
customers. Now, I hope many people took advantage of that platform, not just us,
yeah, and I hope many,
because it was
and I
so
hope people still try
valuable.
to take that. Yeah, I hope people still take advantage of it because I also, even while still here, I visit the website a lot. I learn a lot from it because, to be honest with you, even the journey, I said I didn't know where the journey dropped in my mind. It was in Ireland, actually. I was reading other people's story. I mean, I was reading about how people mind their business in Germany, how it is clean, how it is this, how on Sunday everything is closed, which is something I always dreamed of when I was in Nigeria. So I thought, okay, check, this fits my personality, check, check. But yeah, we'll talk about how that worked out after 6 years here. But there were a lot of things that were checking out for me regarding Germany that I read on Ireland that made me actually decide on Ireland, but on
In
Germany, I mean.
Germany.
But yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think you
We'll
told your
cover the
story
reason
about
why. Yeah, that's literally my story about why I decided to move. Say, so
why you
the in summary, because of the state of the economy, and secondly, a boy planted it in my head about Canada. Plus, I previously heard about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go do my homework at this point in time, and decided to move. And it's literally the best decision in my life that I did. And also,
yeah, same here.
when you start to think about something, everything now starts to add up. Then I now started to feel like there was so much more that I could achieve in life than what Nigeria had to
Yeah,
offer for me. So it was
yeah,
at that point
exactly.
when I started to feel like, oh, even apart from the money, beyond the money, there's so much that you need out of the system, your healthcare, your education, your finances, everything. It just we started to feel limited at that point. But it's because we now started to think outside of our own like lens and our own bubble. So now let's talk about the finance part. How did we fund our immigration?
Yeah, yeah, of course, through the business. But one point that I also wanted to point out was that that year we traveled, that's the year before, was also a very good time in the business we did. It was that time we actually got the idea for the for the
Oh, that product.
so,
We
okay, yeah,
can we
for the
can
other
we can
product.
tease
So
it like, but like it was like performance enhancement products. Is it not that one?
for my that's
Or which other
but
one?
at that point I wanted to what was like instead of importing from China,
Oh, we now started to buy locally because then we
yeah, we
now knew
started to
how
buy.
to deal with exchange rate things.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of importing from China, we started buying locally from people in the local markets. So what they are selling in the local market, we were able to sell online,
And we
and
still
so many
make
people
more
were not.
profit.
I mean,
Many people
yeah,
were
we made
not
a lot of
exposed to
profit.
it.
Yeah, exactly. At that time, and what that the advantage that also gave us was that the time to shipment, like we could just easily go to Itumota within 1 hour, 2 hour, get the product, then ship it to customers. So we didn't have the issue of like we have to order
Waiting for
from
the
China.
product to come from China or even exchange
Yeah,
fee. And it
exactly.
also gave us the chance
And
to experiment with many different products too.
exactly. So the return rate was very good that time, even though the yeah, ad rate was expenses was quite high, but the return rate, like the other rates, were able to do other things apart from worrying about shipping from China and stuff like that. So I think at that point, like I was already deep into the traveling process at that
Yeah, just
time,
a
but I
few.
thought I was making too much money. I was like, hey,
Look at
bro,
what
should
we are
I
leaving
stop?
behind, though. I think for me, because I was able to leave everything behind and not even think twice because I already had a brother that was willing to step in, and you, your own brother, did
Yeah.
not even care about taking it up.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe on that point, I would like to raise also, yeah, because I mean, I used Bisola as a BI. Bisola tried to handed over a business to our brother and sister, and they were managing it. And I tried to, I mean, my younger brother was not really interested in it or into it, but what I wanted to do then was hand over to my staff because I had 2 or 3 staff there that were working with me, and I was thinking, okay, let me hand over to them, and I can find a way to manage them from Germany here, maybe by getting a camera. Then I think I tried to rent a shop and stuff like that. But just like 2 weeks before, because we got the shop, we tried to furnish it. But 2 weeks before I actually traveled, then one of my staff actually defrauded me. So at that point, I was like, you know what, I'm done. Like, okay, you know what? I don't think I can hand over my business to anybody. I mean, I tried, but even after getting to Germany, I realized, oh my God, this is not possible to do that. And even until now, I still cannot hand over a business or start a business in Nigeria and hand over to someone. Any business that I cannot manage personally, I won't do it. But I think that's a story for another episode because yeah, there are so many experiences regarding that from not only us but from other people too that we also like to explore and also discuss. But regarding funding of the traveling, I mean, I made, to be honest with you, I made good money from the importation business we discussed about earlier. So I had enough money to fund my block account because Germany required about almost 10,000 euros block account. Then I had the 10,000 euros and I had another extra 10. So what I did then was that I had the 10,000 euros and I had another 10,000 euros in my savings. So what it was a naira then, which was a mistake I did. I should have converted it to euro because my thought was that okay, if Germany did not work,
You go back
then
home.
I can try out Canada. So that was my idea then. But that's how I got my funding for my traveling to Germany for my importation business. So everything for my flights, from
Okay.
everything I needed, I got it myself because I didn't also want to fall in the situation whereby I mean, even though they are my parents, but the moment like yeah,
Having to
you
look,
know,
ask them
Nigerian
for
parents are
support here. You're like, hello, go back.
yeah. When you start asking for support, then you give people a bit of control over your life in some aspects. And one of the things I left Nigeria for was because I wanted a little bit of freedom. I wanted to live life in my own according to my own dictate, according to what I believe in, according to what I deem right and what I deem wrong. Of course, I always listen to my parents, but I wanted the last decision to be mine. But in Nigeria, which is a cultural thing, actually, like your parents are the ones who make most
Ultimate.
of life decisions for you. So that I wanted to avoid, which was the reason I funded fully my traveling expenses because Nigerian parents they will always remind you at the end of the day, oh, to be travel, no. They will always remind you how much they spent on you or whatever you're doing. So at the end of the day, I try to avoid that. What about you, Bisola?
For me, it was also same thing. It was a business that funded my immigration plan, and because also I was very frugal. I've always been very financially responsible. I'm not that kind of person where because I didn't have anything, any responsibility to spend my money on, then I would lavish it. So even from when we're already running the business, I feel like we're already saving really, really good. Then when the whole idea of immigrating abroad came about, there was already some foundation with money. It just mean that we had to like double our also to make more money and be more strategic with putting all the money in one bank account for proof of fund, also setting aside money for flights and everything else. And it was a business that funded it. My parents, I couldn't really depend on them for support because I know they just didn't have it. If they had it, they would have probably helped me out. So they didn't have it. I also am this independent child. I've always been. So my parents didn't even know much about my immigration plan until like a couple of months, a month or two before my travel. So it was like that. So how would I have asked them for money? It was almost not possible for me to ask them for money. But yeah, that was how I funded it, and I know that it's very similar for you as well. We'll try to wrap it up here, and maybe next time we'll share more about our journey so far and everything else. Or do you have anything else to share?
Yeah. So I think yeah, I think this episode yeah has been good. I think we were able to cover a lot. I mean, probably not the most interesting part, but also the educative part of what this podcast will be about, like how you can start from zero and independently and grow from wherever you are from. Are able to achieve your dreams on your own by the support of your parents or support of people around you. How you can be able to build friendship from trust and reliability and stuff like that. But in the next episode what I actually want to know, and which we never had a chance to discuss, is your first day in Canada. Like immediately you landed in Canada, how was it like? That is what the next episode will be about. Probably be 30 minutes to just discuss our first day in our respective
Abroad,
country. My first day in
diaspora.
Germany, yeah, in the diaspora, and also your first day in Canada. How your flight was like? What's culture shock? Like yeah, stuff like that. I would like us to discuss in the next podcast. And I would also like you guys to also like, share, comment, subscribe, and also just share your experiences, like what were the similar experiences you had, or what are the different
Your
experiences that
immigration
you guys had.
experience, if you had to move, how did that go?
Yeah, yeah. Just give us reasons why you also had to leave Nigeria. We will be happy to hear it and just kick you over it.
All
Okay,
right. This
then.
was fun.
I
This was
think that's it for
fun.
today.
So we'll wrap it
Yeah,
up
it was nice. It
here.
was nice. Yeah,
Thank
so many, I
you.
mean, yeah, so many things to talk about, but yeah, see you guys next time.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Yeah, bye.